Good evening, everybody. And I say good evening because it is 27 minutes past 6 on Friday evening, the 30th of April. And I wanted to do a wee video to tell you a story. So today, I had to put my car into a specialist garage to get one of my alloy wheels fixed. There was a problem that was causing excess friction on my tyre and it was causing air to leak out. So I took it to this garage, which was not particularly close to my house, dropped it off first thing this morning, got the train back, which took probably about 2 hours in total. Started work, worked through till lunchtime, and I got a phone call about 10 past 1 to say that my car was ready. So I had to do the reverse of my journey earlier on, where I had to walk to the train station, get a train to the town where the garage is, and then walk from that train station to the garage. All in all, taking me probably about an hour and a half to do. So I was exhausted by the time I was picking my car up at about 2:23. But picked up my car, paid for the work, and drove home. Drive was about 25 minutes. And I got home. Now, I was probably rushing a wee bit. I was aware I had quite a lot to do still for work. And I also have a youth work session for church tonight, which is starting in about half an hour. So I maybe swung my car into my driveway just a little bit too fast. And there's quite a lip on my driveway. It's not particularly flat, so there's a bit of a bump coming in. But I abandoned my car at the top of my driveway, jumped out, ran into the house, and went into my office, which is at the front of my house, nearest my driveway. And as I walked through the door to my office, I heard this almighty and I looked out the window to see my car deflating, and it was the tyre on the wheel that had just been fixed. So thankfully, Andrew and I have AA coverage, so we phoned the AA and said, can you come out and change our wheel for our spare wheel? So about 45 minutes, an hour later, the AA arrived, switched over to our spare wheel. And when they took the big wheel that had been repaired today off, the guy looked at it and said, Mrs. Young, have you had this tyre off recently? I said, yes, in fact, today the wheel was repaired today. He says, they've not put it back in right. There is a valve, an air valve to pump up or put more air in your tyre. And when they need to remove the tyre, they cut off the air valve to get the tyre out of the wheel. And then when they put it back in, they apply a new valve and they seal it. They hadn't applied a new valve. They'd left the old one in. So when I'd hit the bump in my driveway, it had popped the old valve out. I found it halfway across my front garden in the grass, and the tyre had deflated. If that had happened just 10 minutes earlier, I would have been doing about 60 miles an hour down a windy country back road. And that could have been catastrophic. Now, you might be wondering, you've heard me say that the date is the 30th of April. Now, you might be wondering why you're not seeing this until somewhere towards the middle to end of May. Well, I'm about 9 weeks pregnant. And that was running through my mind of myself and my unborn child had been driving a car that is unsafe. So I phoned the garage that had done the repair work, told them the story, and they asked me if I would bring the car back down. So here I go on my third journey of the day, and headed back down to this little garage about 25 minutes away. It took longer this time because you're not allowed to drive faster than 50 miles an hour with a spare wheel on. They took a look at it and they admitted that someone had made a mistake. And they promised that they organised for a new tyre to be put on first thing tomorrow morning, and they would pay for it. So that's all good. It's getting sorted. And yes, there is a bit of me that is really, really annoyed. But what got me thinking, and that's why I'm doing this video, is that as humans, we are very quick to lay blame. And yes, someone is responsible for this. Someone made a mistake. And as a result, they have unfortunately lost their job. But what my focus should be on is not the blame. My focus should be on being grateful that nothing really terrible happened. Because as I say, if that had happened just 10 minutes earlier, if I'd hit a bump or a pothole or a rock on the road, that could have happened while I was driving at 50, 60 miles an hour or potentially faster. So what I want to encourage people today is to be grateful for when things go in your favour. And look for the positives even in the negatives of, I have had an absolute day and a half today. I have been up and down that road 4 times now. I have missed so much work today that I'm going to end up having to work hundreds or more next week to make up all the time. But I'm safe. My car's not totaled. And it's all getting sorted. So that's where my brain is tonight. And I just wanted to encourage people to look for the positives, even in the negatives, and give thanks to God. I am so, so grateful that God has been protecting me today, even when I wasn't aware. Sorry, that sounds really bright. Even when I wasn't aware of God's protection, He was here with me in this car. He was watching over me, and He was watching over my little one, who's been affectionately nicknamed Peanut. And yeah, nothing worse happened, which I am incredibly, incredibly grateful for. So that's what got me thinking today. And I just wanted to share that. And also say thank you to those people who have been dedicatedly, I don't know if that's a word, continually praying for Inverclyde Youth for Christ, for Jen, for myself, for our families. We actually had a prayer partners last night, the 29th of April, where people had been praying for Jen and I am so, so incredibly grateful for our supporters who do continue to pray for us. You have no idea. You really have no idea the power of that. So that's my thought for today. And I shall leave you with my wee thoughts and my wee ramblings. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you soon. Bye.